Hello, hello. It is I, Mrs. Bendorf, with your daily Bookish Brain Break. Now, if you have a younger student who is watching this ebook reading, this may be something that they remember. Earlier this school year, we actually discussed some of the jobs adults do around our school, including some of the people that maybe don't get the recognition they deserve. Teachers are more than just the people standing in front of the class in classrooms. Teachers are everywhere in a school building, from maintenance staff to cafeteria workers, our administration, everywhere you find a teacher. And any teacher will tell you that our students are some of the best teachers we have. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the people that work in a school with Who Works at Hannah's School by Lisa Bullard, illustrated by Paula J. Becker. This again is available on Epic and is part of an entire series published under the heading Cloverleaf called Off to School that talks about a lot of going to school topics. So, something you might want to take a look at before our new school year starts. Thanks a lot to Millbrook Press for allowing us to read this book together today. Chapter 1, A Contest. My friend TJ and I both broke our arms last week. He and I are going to see who can get the most new people to sign our casts today. Mine already has lots of names, so where am I going to find more? Where do you think? I know! I'll get the grown-ups at school to sign it too! The crossing guard writes, "Safety first." I wish she'd said that before I broke my arm. Crossing guards help students cross streets safely. Now, we do have a little bit of a description of what each of these jobs entails, what they do, but most of them are pretty easy to understand. Mrs. Parsons, the school secretary, drew a smiley face. Principal Jennings writes, "Who's your pal?" Chapter 2, In My Classroom. Jose's grandma is our classroom volunteer. She draws a heart. And my classroom teacher, Mr. Steinberg, gives me a gold star. Now take a look. Some classrooms have helpers called paraprofessionals. Parents and grandparents often volunteer too. Now, as I'm going through all of these different career options at school, try to come up with the names of some of the people that do these jobs in our school as well. Chapter 3, Around My School. I have other teachers too. Can you guess what they teach? Mr. Rodriguez adds a basketball sticker. Mrs. Lee paints a pretty picture, and Mr. Jones sketches a music note. I think Mr. Rodriguez, if we take a look and use our context clues, we can see that, well, looks like he's in the gym. So he's probably a gym or phy-ed teacher. And Mrs. Lee, look at all of the easels and canvases and paint. Looks like a pretty fun art room. And of course, Mr. Jones with his tuba and music stands, definitely a music teacher. Who fills those jobs at our school? Mrs. Harris in the lunchroom writes, "Have a yummy day." Crash! Mr. Louis, the custodian, is nice even when I drop my lunch tray. He signs my cast too. The school nurse puts a bandage on my cast. And Mrs. Grant, the librarian, lets me pick my favorite word out of the whole library. I choose rainbow. Now, librarians go by different names in different schools. For example, sometimes they are called media specialists. At Schulzberg, though, I am definitely the librarian. I get extra help in reading from Miss Young. We're both proud that I can read everything on my cast. Some students get extra help to learn. They might work with special education teachers. I happen to know a special education teacher very, very well. That's, of course, what Mr. Bendorf does. Chapter 4. Time to go home. At the end of the day, TJ and I compare our signatures. It was so fun to talk to all the grown-ups at school that it's okay that I didn't win. And now I'm taking them all home with me on my cast. It takes so many people to make a school run. Ah, here's a little activity. When I grow up, there are many grown-ups who are helpers at school. Grown-ups also serve as helpers in other parts of your community. They include firefighters, safety officers, youth leaders. Some people do these jobs for pay, and sometimes they do them as volunteers. They all help make a strong community. What kind of helper would you like to be when you grow up? I would love to see what ways you are going to help make whatever community you live in better, or maybe some things that you do right now to make your community a better place. And of course, being a fictional nonfiction book, we have a few resources as well. And before then, of course, our glossary of those terms that maybe we've never actually seen or read before. Thank you so much for joining me for our bookish brain break of the day. Don't forget to check out the school library blog for some resources to go along with this story. And please, please don't forget, if you do the project, I would love to see the things you currently do or the things you plan to do to help make whatever community that's lucky enough to have you living there a better place to be. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you next time for our next Bookish Brain Break.